Hello. Hello, Van and Bricks. Looks like you're the only one here. I'm sure others will join in due course. Yeah, I had a few issues to begin with. Yeah, it's a bit of a janky setup, and the room is empty. Yes, and you can probably hear a bit of an echo. Yes, it's a long story. G'day, Stephen. Yeah, it's a long story. Short version is, it started with the wallpaper. No, it didn't even start with that. It started with, oh, we'll just repaint the ceiling, and then it's turned into, oh, let's just take down the wallpaper while we've got the stuff out, and oh, why don't we just renovate the whole house while we're at it? Sounds a bit ridiculous, but hey, it's true. Yeah, so apologies for the echo in the empty room. It'll return to normal at some point in the future. And yeah, just glad that at least two people have found their way onto the stream, and hopefully others will. I think Rod Smith said he would turn up. Yeah, so what's been happening? Lots. Have been to Sydney. Stephen says, sounds like your average railway carriage restorations are overhaul Floyd, lol. Yeah. You start with one thing and then you go, oh, let's just do this. G'day, Patrick, as well. And yeah, so I was told that I would, in late December, I was told I would be out of my room for a maximum of 4 days, and that turned into 4 weeks, and before I know it, it'll probably be more like 4 months. So fun times. G'day, MarTV. Glad to see everyone slowly trickling back in. So yeah, tonight it's going to be showcasing photos from my recent trip to Sydney. I went to Sydney for 10 days. What was the occasion? It was, the main occasion, I guess you could say, was the Cockatoo Run, which is a heritage train. Hang on, what's this? Okay, go away. Oh, that's right. Excuse me while I'm sorting stuff out in the background. It's a heritage train tour, I guess, that's regularly run, and yeah, that's it goes to Moss Vale via Wollongong, via the Illawarra Ranges, and so it's a really nice ride, and yeah, it was pretty cool. The line between I don't know exactly where the line was shut down for track maintenance, but it was somewhere north of Moss Vale and somewhere south of Sydney. So I don't know if that was Goulburn or what, but yeah, it was shut down for track maintenance, and so all of the main north-south interstate trains, or anything that sort of normally would use the main south line in New South Wales, was diverting via the Illawarra Ranges. So that was cool to see, and just as a point of interest, it has apparently the second steepest gradient track unassisted in Australia, that being 1 in 28, and it's only beaten by Wynyard to Sydney Harbour Bridge, which is apparently 1 in 27. But most of the Illawarra line, I think that's what you call it, maybe not. Oh, the line between Mossvale and Wollongong, or specifically, can I remember, Unanderra maybe? I'll have to look that up. I don't think, or maybe, was it Coniston? I think it was Coniston, that's where it, branches out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The gradient is mostly 1 in 30 for, I think, about 15 kilometres. So steep, long run. It's quite cool. Now, excuse me while I look up where this track branches out. And I'll look at comments in a sec. What if I don't want dark mode? Coniston is the branch of the main Port Kembla line, but I think Unanderra is the branch of the Illawarra line, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, looks like it to me. So yeah, that was the main event, but obviously that was only one day of the 10 that I was there. So what did I do the other 10 days? Various other things. I rode every Sydney train line. I went as far south as Bomaderry and as far north as Maitland. I didn't go that far west. I only went as far as Mount Victoria, I think. Yeah. I'd previously been to Lithgow. I was tempted to go to Bathurst one time, but the times just didn't suit me. So, another time. I might even go all the way next time to Broken Hill. Wouldn't that be fun? So yeah, that's a short catch up on what's been happening. Will I be able to stream in another 2 weeks' time? No idea, really. And part of this long story is with the things spiralling. Was that we hired a plasterer to plaster the wall behind me and do plaster a bunch of other things in the house. And without going into any detail, the plasterer was a little bit creepy at times and was horrifically unreliable, like to the point where he would say he was going to turn up one day and then he just didn't turn up for the entire day, or oftentimes he would say he would turn up at one time and would find you turned up, 4 hours late, and then, oh, sorry, I haven't got any tools or any materials or supplies or anything, so I've got to go get that. I'll be back in an hour. It's like, oh. So he got fired after he left an abusive voice message to my brother. Won't go into that either. If you're a personal friend of mine, you feel free to ask me about it and I'll tell you about it in person. Because, it's a story. But yeah, so the unreliable plasterer is gone, and there's apparently a reliable plasterer coming tomorrow. So hopefully this room will be finished, and we're probably going to put wallpaper back up again, and hopefully things can get back to normal then. I can't. The thing is that annoys me the most about it all is that because pretty much the entirety of the downstairs area of my house is getting renovated to some extent, it's very hard for me to set up a computer downstairs, and unfortunately the way that I have set things up is that I can only access my photos and videos and stuff from downstairs, because they're all stored on one computer, right? And I need a wired internet connection to get to that computer. And while there's plenty of wired connections downstairs, there are none upstairs. So I guess I could technically access it via Wi-Fi, but it's just so slow via Wi-Fi that it's not worth doing. So yeah, so I haven't been able to do any photo and video editing really, which sucks because I was hoping that I would get a lot done these holidays, but looks like I won't get any done. Oh well, what do you do? So looking at some comments. Maya TV asks, am I seeing the Otway tomorrow? You mean the Otway Explorer or whatever, the train? No, I will not be seeing it because I'm going to be going the opposite direction to the Yarra Valley. My family, another long story, but I'm going to an Airbnb in the Yarra Valley just for the day, and I'm not paying for it, so whatever. Trains of Melbourne says hi, g'day. Vanderbrick says, what else did you do in Sydney? You spammed your Instagram story. I certainly did. I noticed some dwindling numbers towards the end, about not as many people watching them because I've spammed them so much, but a fair decent. I'd say there's probably, in terms of people who watched every single one, I want to say there was at least 20. Stephen says, was worth every story. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. I assume you're somehow referring to the plasterer, but you haven't heard the story yet, so I don't know what you're talking about there. Jset says hi. R711 whatever says E and hi. So hi. Ooh, comments flowing in now. Roderick Smith, YouTube gave me trouble and didn't show this. It did bring up Floyd in Oz with a section of Indian cooking, then camp, then realised that it was Keith Floyd. Okay. Matt K183 says, Floyd, I'm the person you saw on the Steamrail Lilydale shuttles last year at Newport and on the Comenge back to the city. Oh yeah, we spoke when you got on the train at Burnley. Oh yeah, I remember. Vandenbroek says he thinks he tried to watch every single one. Don't know if he did though. Yeah, well, 20 people at least watched the vast majority of them. Oh, Stephen was referring to the Insta/Facebook stories were worth watching every single one of them. Oh, well, thank you. Matt Cowan83 says, I have to say your video of the steam train ride from Lynn Street to Newport is bliss. It's mind-blowing. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I wish I was able to even release more of those for the Gunsel's style videos, but yeah, it's hard, but I'll try and get one out, which is a ride on the Sydney Tramways Museum from Sutherland to Royal National Park. That'll be cool. Oh, lots of comments before we get into the main event. Matt also says, are you going to the Newport workshops on the Labor Day weekend? I certainly will be. I might be volunteering at the workshops. We'll see. James Melbourne says you should do transporting videos. Is that not what I do? Transport related videos? And train chasing, definitely. The thing with like train chasing is, with train chasing, it's like the traditional style of train chasing video, at least in Australia, tends to be very much long form content, but it's sort of like, you know, the train's approaching, the train's passing, the train's approaching, the train's passing at various places. And well, that's cool, you know, it's just that I feel like if I do another one of them, am I really being any different to anyone else? No. So if I was going to do it, I would want to do something which makes my own. You know, there's nothing wrong with that style. It's just been done. That's the only thing. I don't feel creatively like I'm adding to anything. Yeah, so an idea would be to sort of take you behind the scenes of a chase, I guess, where I'm filming like, okay, you know, what's my plan? Where do I plan to go? How do I get there? Do I encounter any troubles along the way? Mixed in with a bit of train approaching, train leaving type stuff. And I don't want all of the train approaching, train leaving shots to be front three quarters because, again, that's been tried to death. So, yeah, I don't know, that's just a thought. But then I definitely need help filming a lot of that because when I'm chasing, I tend to be the one driving and I can't film and drive at the same time. But I'm sure we can work that out, you know. I don't know, just an idea, throwing it out there. Stephen says, I was saying to Floyd that it was a shame he didn't get to see the launch of Geelong Tram No. 2 at Ballarat because he was at the Loftus Tram Museum in Sydney by pure coincidence. Yes, I'd already organised my Sydney trip and already booked accommodation and trains and everything by the time Ballarat announced, hey, we're going to launch Geelong Tram No. 2, and I thought, damn, I would have liked to see it, but I'm glad that friends and plenty of others did get to go see it. So yeah, I'm sure I'll ride it another time. And yeah, I was at the Sydney Tram Museum that day by pure chance. The Sydney Tram Museum is open Wednesdays and Sundays. I was initially thinking of going on the Wednesday, and then the weather was going to be better on Sunday basically, so I ended up going to Maitland, I think, on Wednesday. I didn't even plan to go to Maitland, I just ended up there. Lots of catching up to do. Vandenbrick says, reckon you'll start volunteering other than the open days. Would be great to have you there with Stephen and I. Yes, I will be. How often will I be? Hard to tell. I'll try to come a few weekends because my induction is going to be on this coming Thursday. That's been a bit of a nightmare to get that organised. I kept being busy on every date that Bob, the volunteer coordinator, was running them. But next Thursday, that's my plan, is my induction. And then, yeah, we'll start after that. And into the uni year, I'll definitely try and put in, say, a weekend a month, but other than that, we'll have to see. James Melbourne says, hopefully they do a Cruise Express again. And Matt K183 says, hopefully Steamrail does the weekender trips again soon. I think they'll be doing both. No reason why they wouldn't be. James Melbourne says, if you try and chase, you get in your car, you drive, find the train, and stop the car, then you film it. Yeah, that's sort of the idea. And talking about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Trains at Melbourne, Geelong tram, not train. And Stephen says, at this stage, K183 will be officially launched back into service at the open day weekend. Cool. Stephen explains that it's a tram, not a train. That's Geelong number 2. It was the last surviving tram from the former Geelong tramways. And quadruple Ks, says Matt K183, would be cool. Stephen says there's been talks of that, but nothing confirmed. Yeah, I think that has been done before. Roderick Smith, you'll be the one to know off the top of your head. Has quadruple Ks been done before? I think it has. Anyway, after 20 minutes, I have finally caught up with the comments. So how about we get stuck into the photos? I've got a lot to cover, a lot of photos. All right, let's... Hello, I'm back. Ignore the waiting screen that briefly popped up. So, this number here, 3,259. That's how many photos I took in Sydney, just photos. And I say Sydney, by Sydney I mean New South Wales and etc. Okay, I'm going to ignore the comments for a little bit. So we start at Central. This is pretty much when I arrived. Early morning, 8 a.m. Not that early, but you get the idea. I came via the overnight XPT on the night of Thursday the 27th to the Monday of Friday the 28th. I believe that is the XPT that I came in on platform 1 at Central. So cool. And on our left we've got a train to Armidale and Moree, which is, I've had a mind blank, Explorer. It's an Explorer. A V-set looking a bit dirty. I haven't edited any of these photos, so you're just seeing them all as is. H-set and a V-set. Ooh, the one and only K-set that I saw. Okay, I saw a couple more in the Flemington depot, but outside of the depot, this was the only one I saw in Sydney. It wasn't even in service. I'm not sure, because the Ks don't normally do intercity services, so I'm not sure why it was. Reconnection successful. Let me just make sure that, okay, YouTube's back. Yeah, I don't know why this K was at the intercity platforms. It just was. Which K set is it? Don't know. I'm sure one of my friends recorded what it was. So this view was from the top of the hotel that I was staying at. I stayed at a hotel called the Maclay in Elizabeth Bay. And when I checked in, they saw that me and my friends had cameras, and they said, oh, you know, do you guys do a bit of photography? I'm like, yeah, we do. And they're like, oh, you should definitely check out the rooftop. I was like, rooftop? I didn't know there was access to a rooftop on this hotel, but sure. So got my bags, checked in, got my room set up, everything, and then went back down to the reception, collected the key for the roof, and took these photos. So you can see there's a navy. I'm not good with my ships. What is that? Is it a destroyer? I think it's a destroyer. Heading out to sea from the nearby Woolloomooloo HMAS Cushion Bulls, something like that. The Navy base down there. I can't remember. Yeah, nice view over the harbour. Oh, the famous Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. Opera House. Yeah, that's not a bad photo actually. Could have been thumbnail worthy, but I didn't say that one. T set, Tangara. Oh, it looks like a former G set. And looks like, yeah, so where was that? Was that Central? It must have been. No, If it's platform 4, then it's something else. Town Hall, maybe? Yeah, there's no GPS attachment or anything. That's Town Hall. So maybe it was all Town Hall. If you B set, I'm just experimenting with stuff. Where's this? Something Park. I forget. Hurlston Park. That's it. The Sydney Metro is being constructed through Hurlston Park. So I believe that the line... Actually, I don't know. I was going to say that the line that Hurlston Park is on is going to become purely Sydney Metro. I think that's the case, but I'm not entirely sure. That's my friends, Joel and Cody and Simon. We were staying at Hurlston Park. We got off at Hurlston Park. One of our friends is an assistant driver with SSR, and he was going to be coming through Hurlston Park on a local goods train from, I think, Enfield to Botany, to Port Botany. And we waited for ages, and they had trouble, and we thought, oh, we'll go a couple more stations up just to catch him there. And they fixed the trouble and passed us as we were going the opposite way. So, oh well. This train though, the TT 110 on the, I think it's a limestone from memory. But that had troubles earlier in the day around Picton when we were on the XPT. We got stuck behind it. And another TT on the back, 106. That's something we don't tend to see in Victoria, is freight trains with push-pull locomotives. Another B set. Oh, it's B1. How about that? Another freight coming through, 8184. And 8163 on a something. Oh, and there's an 82 thrown in there. 8218 by the looks of it. I didn't even see that before. Whoops. Yeah. What is it carrying? Is it fuel or is it something else? Does it say on here? No. Just tells you how much it weighs. Where are we now? Not Hurlston Park. Maybe Blacktown? What is it? No, Lidcombe, that's it. Passing. Where was that? Someone will know where that is, I forget. Where are we now? Parramatta. Is it? Yeah, it's Parramatta. and we were catching a VSET to Mount Victoria, that's right. Or Katoomba first, I think. Oh no, it wasn't even Katoomba first, it was Woodford first. Because I think we were after another freight train. VSET. Another VSET. That's not bad framing. Let's stop here and look at the comments. Tony Hawk, oh, hang on. Hello, Tony Hawkins. Roderick Smith says triple and twice. One was to Nyora and the third failed and was detached at Dandenong, but the other third dead being towed Bendigo to Melbourne for restoration. Okay. Has there ever been a quadruple steam header in Victoria? I feel like there's at least been a quadruple header, but it might have used 3 Ks and something else, or I don't know, or 3 Rs and a K. I don't know. Matt says, you wonder when the new intercity fleet trains will start running? Who knows? I heard one person who claimed 7 years from now, and others have said far sooner, but they'll just need modifications to allow for guards, because they're built without consideration for guards. Did I ride the ferries, Matt? I did. I rode the ferries twice, and you'll see photos. Vandenbrick says cement maybe. I don't think it was cement. You guys are from Melbourne and you're just assuming that it's cement. I'm pretty sure it's not cement. I know that's what cement wagons in Victoria look like these days, but I don't think it was cement. Tony says, wow, Parramatta is about 10 kilometres from me. Oh yeah? Whereabouts are you? Because I went all over Sydney. Matt says, I think Sydney to Parramatta was the first railway construction in New South Wales. I think you're right. Yes, it was, says Tony. But it was actually Parramatta Junction, says Stephen, which is near what is now Granville. There you go. Roderick Smith says, yes, we've had a quad. It was to be 4 times R, but 1 R failed in advance. It was 3 times R plus a K. We've also had triple R. Yep. I've been on a triple header. I don't think it was triple Rs though. Stephen says, I'm honestly surprised Sydney still has suburban guards, train guards. Yeah, I mean, they've got a strong union, and people are conflicted about how useful guards really are. I'll leave it at that. It can be a long discussion. Tony says, I live in Kellyville. All right, I'm not entirely sure where Kellyville is, but 10 kilometres from Parramatta. New South Wales did a quintuple header to celebrate a railway anniversary. I don't think we've had a quintuple header steam in Victoria. Tony says you should have a fan day next time you're up here. How many fans of mine are in Sydney? I don't know. How many would actually turn up? I'll be back to Sydney at some point. Continuing on. Still at Woodford. Still photographing V-sets. Something different comes through. Hey, look at that. It's the Bathurst Bullet. And that is not that's an Endeavour, yes. It's an Endeavour, not an Explorer. They're essentially the same train mechanically. They're just different internals. And different paint job and whatnot. So hey, would you look at that? It's another V-set. I've got plenty of photos of V-sets. That's one thing I don't need next time I go to Sydney is more photos of V-sets. I wouldn't say no to more photos, but it's not a necessity, put it that way. Okay, so we got on that one. Oh, passing another V-set. Hazelbrook. Why was I taking a photo of Hazelbrook? I'm not sure. Probably because something else is coming. No, I don't know why I was taking photos of Hazelbrook. Or Lawson, to be honest. It's a nice house. Wentworth Falls. It might have been freight trains that I filmed. That's why I was taking photos of the station signs. Where are we now? Katoomba, I think. Must be, because that's my pizza that I had for dinner. It was a tandoori chicken pizza. Quite nice, actually. Oh yes, and the cockatoos found a bit of chicken. Katoomba. Hey, it's another V-set, but it's at Katoomba. That's not bad. Trying a few different angles. Trouble with this 1DX. Cody. And something different. An XPT. Now, where does this one go to? Is it orange? Or, hang on, let me look at, let's go, Sydney. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. Someone's probably answered by the time I figure this out. It's not Bathurst. What's this? Dubbo. It's probably Dubbo. Yeah. Okay, I'm done with that. And yes, I realised I just doxed myself. By the time I realised, it was too late. Oh well, be respectful with that information, put it that way. Mount Victoria, here we are. It's a nice station, Mount Victoria. I was told by my friend that he thinks it's the nicest station in all of Australia. I think it's a nice station, don't get me wrong, but I think there are plenty of, maybe not plenty, but I think there are nicer stations. It's a tough competition. What's the time? Oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock and we're like not even a quarter of the way through. I'll probably get to put it this way. How much longer do you want me to keep going? Do you want me to keep going do you want me to find a place to stop relatively soon? Or do you want me to keep going for a bit longer tonight, considering I haven't done a live stream in a while, and I might not do one for another little while? Let me know and I'll keep going for the moment. V-set. Gosh, I think I spent all day photographing V-sets. All my friends were obsessed with them, so I don't mind them. They're comfy. They're nice. And did I get the... Yeah, I did. You can't really see, but like right there, that's a very intoxicated guy who we got off the train at Mount Victoria and he's just lying flat on his face on the platform, and we're like, what? And the guard saw and checked that he was all right, and he was just severely intoxicated. The station staff didn't really want to call the police on him because they were like, well, he's not causing any trouble. But then eventually they did call the police, and police turned up and had a long chat to him, and then eventually he walked out of there in handcuffs. So I got no idea what went down, but yeah. I'm zoomed in. How did I get zoomed in? The waiting room at Mount Victoria. Hey, something different. No, that would have come from Bathurst, yes. Or is it going to Bathurst? It's come from. Oh, back to Central. Yeah, after photographing yet another V-set. Two very different parts of Central, the old part and the new part. And we're at King's Cross. That was the closest station to where I was staying. Looks like that's a new day, so let's see what people are saying. Vanbrix says maybe cut it out if you can before you put it back up as a video. It sort of comes out almost immediately as a video, but yeah, I will cut it out just as the YouTube's cutting thing is retarded. I hate using it, but I will. Yeah. Half the people watching the stream already know where I live, quite apart from the doxing. And the other half, be respectful. Yeah, I'll try and do something, because the live streams generally get, I don't know, 100 odd views. So, Roderick Smith suggests 10:30. Stephen agrees with Rod. Okay, this seems like a general consensus is go till 10:30. People say roughly half now, the second half later. 10:30. All right, let's go to 10. Let's go till 10:30, and we'll find a good spot to stop at around 10:30. Tony says he loves the Blue Mountains. Yeah, the Blue Mountains are quite nice. City Circle train. Just taking photos of trains at Central, because where were we going to on that day? I don't know. And hey, look at that. That's the Inner West Light Rail, the one that had the cracked trams, and they've just announced today that they're going to be reinstating services tomorrow. Yeah. Except not with the cracked trams, with slightly modified trams from the newer ones from the eastern suburbs light rail. Well, that looks like a photo of Circular Quay, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's not Circular Quay, that's something else. I don't know what that is. I think we're on the Harbour Bridge, we must be. No? Oh, I don't know. What's that? Waverton. Ah, yes, that's the branch to the, is it Laverton Bay? Something like that. Laverton Bay, the sidings down there. Hornsby, photographing another. Now, hey, I think that's an Explorer, not an Endeavour. Still at Hornsby, yeah. So I was on my own on this day, I think. Or at least at this time. What was I doing? I don't know. I think, oh yeah, that's right. So my friends had decided that they were going to go to Maitland for the day. And I said that that was too early of a start for me. And plus I wanted to do other stuff. So, and too late of a finish as well. So, I don't think I woke up until like 1 p.m. that day. I was so tired. I'd gotten a shocking night's sleep on the XPT. And then been out all day and got back late as well. So I decided to ride the metro all the way from, gosh, I'm really having to remember my Sydney geography. Where does it start again? Not Hornsby. Or is it Hornsby? It ends in Tallawong. Where does it start? I forget. But it's a novelty to be able to look out the front of the train. Because it's driverless, if you didn't already know. And I thought, oh yeah, while I'm in Tallawong, I will take the bus over to, is it Riverstone? I knew it was River something. Riverstone, because Riverstone has a level crossing, and people in Melbourne will be going, so what? It's a level crossing? But if you know Sydney, Sydney has very few level crossings compared to Melbourne. So it's more of a novelty in Sydney. And plus I wanted to ride the Richmond line. An old siding there. I don't know if that's still used or not. It's got no overhead. Here comes my train. A59. Vineyard, sorry, not Vineyard, not Wynyard. Mulgrave. Oh, an abandoned house. Look at that. No, I did not do any urbexing while I was out there. Clarendon. East Richmond. Another level crossing. I looked up where the level crossings were on that line. And coming into Richmond itself. Very different to the Richmond station in Melbourne. Lots of nice photos at Richmond. Oh God, now I remember this. Malfunctioning Opal machine. It was very loud and made the most obnoxious noise. Just taking more photos at Richmond. It's dark. Oh yeah, there you go. There's a semaphore signal. It's quite a nice station to photograph at night. Inside of an A set it would be. And we're travelling back. I was trying to get maximum track coverage while I was there. Mulgrave, and I think we're back to that looks like Town Hall, doesn't it? And we've got some trams. One going to Randwick. I thought I got more photos of trams at night. I think I did on another day. An 81, just stabled at Central. And that was my train, the Cockatoo Run. We had 4836, I think, on the front. SFN 2182 was one of the carriages. I can't remember the others off the top of my head. Yeah, 4836, there you go. It was advertised as being with 42101, but that loco was unavailable, so we got the 48, which was nice. Haven't travelled behind either a 421 or a 48, so that one's owned by Juni Rail Workshops, I believe. And yeah, you can tell because of the logo. Looks like a turntable. Oh, there's another carriage number, is SBN 2195. I think that's what I travelled in. SFN 2182. And here we are. Wow. Isn't that the best photo I've ever taken? Obviously it was in a tunnel somewhere. Where's that? Completely blurred. Can anyone recognise the station? Because I can't. It's somewhere on the south coast. Albert, welcome. Another Sydney resident joins us tonight. I did actually announce it, but it was it was hastily done. Watch the start and you'll realise why. Or you'll be filled in. Where's that? I don't know. It's some station near Wollongong. Or is it Wollongong? I think it might be Wollongong itself. I don't know if we're on the branch yet. I think we are. I think we must be. Is it a branch? Do you call it a branch? It's a through route. It's the escarpment, I think you call it. The Illawarra escarpment. It's a very nice area. Hey, looking down on Wollongong. Summit Tank. What's the time? 10:23. MBR 2078. I love the red rock walls. The trees really change from Wollongong to Moss Vale. Two different sides of the ranges, really. What's this? Mount Murray. And here we are at Moss Vale itself. In the background, I think we've got both an Endeavour and an Explorer. There you go. Lovely station, Moss Vale. Another, what's that? A collapsed shed. Is the house in use? Or is the house abandoned? Hard to tell. Probably still in use. What's that? Looks like an old, like a substation, I don't know. In a tunnel. Approaching a small level crossing, there you go, that's a clear photo. Really should have increased my shutter speed for a few of these shots. But it was hard switching when I wanted a 50th of a second for video purposes. So when I was often switching between photo and video, it was easier to just keep my shutter speed consistent. But it was perhaps to my detriment at some stages. I can have two preset settings, if you like, on my camera that I can just sort of switch between, but it still takes, like, I can flick the mode dial across in a fraction of a second, but it still takes a little bit longer than that for the camera to actually figure out what I've asked it to do. So that's why it's perhaps not ideal, but who knows. So we're coming back from Moss Vale to Wollongong now. We passed a few freight trains actually. I got videos of them, but no photos. I filmed a proper video of the Cockatoo Run, so I will have that edited at some stage, but yeah, with the current state of things, who knows when that will get done. Hello. Is that Wollongong itself, or is that some other station? It is Wollongong, I can see that time. I'm busy now. Yeah, look at that, nice. Very nice cliffs. And the ocean, I think we might be around Coal Cliffs. Okay, that's what she wanted. Scarborough, looks like that's where we were near. Lovely scenery. The weather was just perfect. And the seas were flat. That's Coal Cliff, the abandoned colliery. Very well-known abandoned place. A few of the passengers as we're passing Coal Cliffs. I was trying to get decent photos of the place, but shutter speed was too low again. That's a nice photo inside the tunnel. Coming out of the tunnel. Hey, that's cool. And let me just let the dog in so he knows someone else is home. Hello. Come on. Yeah, sit down. All right. More tunnel photos. I think that was Otford. Can barely see, but that's nice. I like that one. It's hard, especially to get photos zoomed in, but that's not a bad photo. Heading into the tunnel. Very lovely line, very scenic. Shame that there's no clear photos of that. The rock. That's about. And go back. It's about the only clear photo I got. I'd like to do it again another time. I'd prioritise other things, but like other tours and whatnot, but I'd definitely do the cockatoo run another time. It's not like it's going to go away. And get photos that weren't motion blurred of the scenery. Won't be with a 48 most likely, but that's all right. Do it with 420-101 next time. Passing a train again. H set from Kiama or something. Carlton, I think. Very different to the Melbourne Carlton, hey? Well, Melbourne's Carlton doesn't have a railway station, does it? I don't think so. Maybe it did. That's Kiama via Wollongong, that H set. Something like that's not, okay. Yeah, that's not a bad photo. I increased my shutter speed finally. Looks like at 200th of a second. Even then I'm still getting some motion blur. Only briefly. It's back to a 50th. And here we are at Central and the 48 is running around. We didn't run around at Moss Vale, we turned on the triangle. And because, yeah, that was kind of weird. The what do you call it, volunteer trainer officer or whatever you want to call them, was telling everyone that the loco was going to run around at Moss Vale, and that it would be on the other end, and that, you know, the carriages would essentially be reversed in regards to the locomotive. So just watch out for that when you get back on at Moss Vale. But then I was a bit confused because I thought, wouldn't we just turn on the triangle as we come in? And yes, we did. We did exactly that. We turned on the triangle. So in other words, we turned the whole train, not just, we didn't need to run around the locomotive. (81:48), passing a H set by the looks of it. Oh, it's the one H set that's got the Aboriginal painting. I forget the number though. That's a nice shot at Central. And yeah, looks like the train has left, so what's the time? Oh, 10:36, perfect timing. I'll go hey, stop. Let me just see. Okay, I've got a bunch of tram photos tonight. I think I will stop here, because then we've got 1,000 photos of trams at night. And it'll be a memorable place to stop the end of the Cockatoo run, right here. And I realised the camera's battery has gone flat. Yeah, let's change out the battery just so that we can end off the stream. I wasn't paying attention, was I? How long has that been out for? Oh, hang on. Hey, let's turn it. Ow, hang on. Maybe the battery wasn't out. No, it is running low. Hang on a second. All right. And fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. Hey, we're back. Where's my thing gone? Oh, I doxed myself again. And again, how do I stop doing this? OBS. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Oh, that was a bit eventful, wasn't it? Let's turn things down a tad. Is that down? Right, that's up. That's better. Okay. Thanks for sticking with me. We've got 8 people watching at the moment, apparently. Yeah. So we've seen until the end of the second day. But in terms of the photos, we're sort of halfway. Are we? Oh, we're a bit over halfway. I just took many, many photos on that cockatoo run. We're at photo number, you can't see this, but 1,716 out of 3,259. So 17, 16 out of 3259. So we're at 52% of the way through. 53, if you like. Yep. Will it be in 2 weeks' time that I resume this? Maybe. I'll try and announce on the day whether it's happening or not. And I've got a little bit of editing to do in YouTube Studio, which I'm not looking forward to. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye. Don't think I've said it all. Bye-bye. Let's see if this works. Can I come back for a resurrection? Hey, I'm back. If anyone is still with us, I just wanted to read a few comments before I went away completely. God, there were a lot of comments. Oh, my camera died ages ago. Oh, so the camera was out for ages. Okay. So Chatswood was when, oh man, it went out. Normally I have the camera plugged in, but I can't at the moment because of the mess. Did I book a room or a recliner, says Matt K183 on the XPT. I booked a recliner. I wish I had the money for a room, but recliner did the job. And it was a fairly empty train, so I got 2 seats to myself, so it was all right. Oh, okay, Tony's on the metro line. Albert says, did they do the stop at Summit Tank to let the passengers go out to the lookout? Yes, they did. It would be nice to see 6029 come back. I think it's stored for now. fun fact, says Albert, Moss Vale has the widest island platform in Australia. Huh, there you go. And Roderick Smith says, Moss Vale had a major dining room and was the breakfast stop for interstate trains northbound, supper southbound. There you go. What camera am I using? I'm using a Sony a7 III with, at the moment, a 16-35 f4 lens on it. Other times I'll use a 24-105 f4. And some guy named Spalsy just found my channel. Hello, if you're still watching. Roderick Smith says, Wollongong, an interesting station for having a refreshment room on each platform. And Roderick Smith says the double track tunnels were part of a major deviation. If I recall correctly, Coalcliff is single track. The original Otford Tunnel was notorious single track. Oh yeah. And Coalcliff is still single track. Yeah, I thought Stephen says North Carlton. I knew there was some Carlton. There was a North Carlton station on the Inner Circle line in Melbourne. Roderick Smith says, I've only just scanned a photo of the start of my January 1970 New South Wales all lines. 17:45 extra from Melbourne, alighting at Moss Vale at 5:30 a.m. to catch the 6:30 CPH to Wollongong. Yeah, back when there was regular services on that line. Otherwise, Parliament is the closest station these days to Carlton, says Steve. And Tony says you'll have to do that tour, the Cockatoo Run. Yeah, I mean, just Google it. I'm pretty sure there's a run on like February 20th or something, from memory. Matt says he enjoyed the live stream, and yeah, just me fixing the camera. Great stream despite the mishaps. Yeah, well, thanks. First stream back, there was bound to be. Albert says so many photos you can make a stop motion movie of the trip. Well, a lot of the burst photos, yeah, I could. Roderick Smith says, great presentation, nothing beats a first time adventure, making discoveries for oneself. My first New South Wales visits had steam or rail motor on many of those lines. I watched the change to diesel, then electric. Yeah, well, it's interesting because it's far from my first trip to Sydney as such, but it's definitely my first rail-only dedicated 10 days New South Wales, let's go. All based in Sydney. Because, yeah, I guess, I don't know when the first time I went to Sydney was, probably when I was very young. And then first time sort of travelling on my own. Well, I guess you could, because I sort of dropped, I passed through Sydney in 2019 on my way back from Queensland, went to Lithgow. I only had like a day or two in Sydney then. It was really just a stopover. And yeah, this trip was my first one where it was like, okay, I'm going there for an extended period of time and I'll be on my own for some of it. Most of it. So I went up with friends and then, so I went up on Thursday night, and then they left on the Monday night, I think, yeah. And then I was on my own from the Monday night through to the following Monday morning, I guess, which was when my other overnight XPT pulled into Melbourne. Vanderbrick says, I'd love to hear the plasterer story, so I'll shoot you a message a bit later on. I don't even know if I can do it over message. It's a long story. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff, Tony, that I knew was around and I wanted to do, but I just didn't have the time, so there's definitely going to be another Sydney trip another time. Everyone's saying goodbye, and I ended up reviving it. Albert says, good to see the Cockatoo run come back after the issues that 3801 Limited had that stopped it for almost 2 years. Yeah. Okay. That really is it this time. 10:50. Oh, well, hope you enjoyed, and this is truly goodbye for the last time, and I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.